Go.
Hello, this is my special topics presentation on sea otters. Some facts about sea otters are that they are 40 to 65 inches long, they weigh 30 to 100 pounds, they have a dense fur coat that keeps them warm all winter, which is one of the thickest coats of all animals, and the males are typically larger than females. And here is a picture of one of the otters. Their habitat. So they live in cold water, 35 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and in coastal waters. This shows a pack of sea otters floating on their backs together, and then a singular one over here. Their diet, so they are carnivores. They feed on invertebrates, including sea stars, crabs, clams, sea urchins, and mussels. They must consume 25 to 30% of their body weight per day. And this is because they do not have blubber, so in order to keep them warm, they must consume this much food. Their diet helps the ecosystem by controlling invertebrate populations. And here is an otter with a shell that a clam shell that they are opening. Some of their behaviors, they are extremely social animals, and they stay in groups, which are called rafts. They separate into rafts by gender typically, so males will be in a raft together floating down the river, and females will be in a separate raft floating down the river. They live for about 10 to 15 years, and this is an example of a raft where they typically link arms with one another so they stay together. Reproduction. Gestation period of 6 months for sea otters. They can give birth to 1 or 2 pups at a time. However, if they have 2, the mother usually abandons one to increase the likelihood of survival of just one of them. Their mother teaches the pup to scavenge for food, dive, and sustain life. And the pups stay buoyant for 8 to 10 weeks at the beginning of their life, like this, so the mother lays on their back, and the baby floats on top down the river. Behavioral adaptations. They use many tools to survive, including rocks and other objects. So they are very smart creatures and open shellfish with rocks, and they float on their backs and use their stomachs as a table. And here is a video clip of them using these adaptations. So the otter here is floating down the river, and he grabs a rock, and he's using it to open the clamshell. As you can see there, he hits it, using his stomach as a table. And that's how he gets it open to get the food inside. Worldwide sea otter distribution. So the present range the sea otters are in is identified by the green all along these coasts, and the red are where they're absent from, but it's a historic range for sea otters here and along the coast of the United States over here. Some sea otter anatomy. So they have large webbed back feet and a very long tail, so they lay on their backs floating in the water, and their long body is covered with dark, shiny fur. They have very sensitive whiskers that allow them to detect surroundings, and they have small eyes and ears. And all of these anatomical features allow them to survive and float down the river successfully. Some threats to their habitat are human activity, coastal development, pollution, and oil spills. Pollution is a huge issue as otters tend to get stuck in things such as plastic bags as seen in this picture, and oil spills where they have oil covering them and can no longer survive, or oil in the water and then they cannot catch fresh prey. They are a keystone species, which means that they maintain balance and structure in their ecosystem. So they maintain kelp forests and provide insight into the health of the marine ecosystem. So they're the focus of many researchers' studies to see the health of the ecosystem. And here's just an example of the otter and some of the other animals in their ecosystem. Coastal health and its relation to otters. So sea otters help to control sea urchin populations by ingesting them. Fewer urchins means healthier kelp forests. So no otters means no abundance of urchins, or means an abundance of urchins, which means kelp collapse and ecosystem downfall. Sea Otter Awareness Week. This is a big week that includes education workshops, activities, beach cleanups, habitat tours virtually of the otter's habitat, and all of these allow for the public to learn about sea otters and how they can help them continue to survive and flourish. And this is a poster from Sea Otter Awareness Week and the Sea Otter Fund. As you can see, there's mom sea otter and the baby. So there are many, many species of otters. They're everything from the giant otter all the way down to the smooth-coated otter, marine otter, Congo clawless otter, even a hairy-nosed otter. There's so many throughout the world. And some of them are endangered or near threatened. The Sea Otter Foundation and Trust is one organization that helps these otters. So they are a nonprofit organization that raises funds for otters. They have grants given out that allow for otter research, education, and conservation. All of this financial support helps in discovery of how to help otters and keep them thriving in their natural habitats, and to help them clean up any natural habitats so that the otters can continue to thrive there. This is one of their posters. Some other restoration projects include the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and the Monterey Bay Aquarium, who all work to help otters. Here are several pictures of otters, one on land, a few in the water, and then a couple together. And thank you for listening.